them, show you kind of this a picture. And if you hear in my audience, this is from a document that's about 10, 15 years old, 10 years that surfaced through ufology, that there was supposed to be 50, 60 races of aliens. This is not AI photos that I'm bringing. This is long before AI really was kicking it. This is kind of depictions that they have given the government or people, and they kind of had artists to draw these things. But this was in one of the files that was released. And even though it was a classified areas, but sometimes that, because it's so outlandish of all this, and they know a lot of people wouldn't just believe it, but they have a history of each one of these aliens, which we know there's thousands of crashes. So just to bring you up to speed, there's 56 of them that we're talking about. Just talked about 20 on Forbidden Knowledge on part 1, the other 26 here. But the race that I'm getting ready to talk about now, the Maitre race, 5 of the races that I talked about a while ago that was very aggressive were all connected to this race that I'm getting ready to put on the screen now, so we can continue with our story of going down this rabbit hole. All right, so this is the Maitre, I guess what they would call it, Maitre race. Their home planet is the constellation of Maboki or whatever. And remember about my grammar box, you already know that. Now, they have the same average height as humans and are considered by many alien races as parasites. They visit Earth for the first time during the prehistoric period, dates unknown. Now, abductions of humans is carried out openly by this particular race. They have the goal of colonizing Earth, and that has not happened because of protection from other alien races, such as the ones in the Council of Five, which we're going to talk about them in a little bit. So that goes back to that theory of there is the guardians or whatever they want to call them at this time. But, you know, and so there's supposed to be a lot of alien races. And remember, I mentioned a couple of friendly ones earlier, and there's more here too that are here to preserve Earth. And so somehow there's these rules that was put in place that this particular project planet is, in according to this alien that we went through in this book, that we're a project planet. So according to the project planet, we are off limits. However, there's been a lot of violations, especially with those shapeshifter reptilians and a lot of other people violating the human treaty of control. Now, being examined is one thing, being abducted is one thing, but being controlled and manipulated and used for whatever supposed to be off limit. And so when you start hearing the story of Nibiru, the return of the Black Planet and all this, and they always call it the Great Reset because of the Great Deluge, the flood, all of the stories. You go back into the historical stuff that we read, then they're coming back to reset things that supposedly is not supposed to have happened. Now, this time there's a little more preparation going on. So people are moving underground, building bunkers. The alien races that are in control is going into the bottom of the Earth because supposedly when that Black Planet comes in alignment, it has climate, whatever you want to call it, catastrophes and stuff that happens on the surface areas of Earth. And so there's always a problem there. Let me give a shout out to the chat here. We have, of course, our godmothers here. Russian have identified, yep, multiple aliens. Yep. Here, we hope it's okay. Love and info. Okay, come on with it. All right, thank you. Welcome. How do we spell Sexton Galaxy? Actually, you spelled it right, Christian. That exactly how it's spelled in my documents. And so you can go ahead and do that. I'll try to put this document in the Patreon site in the, I'll try to get it up in there. And I'm not, I'll just try to get it in there for those of you who have access there. Somebody just need to gonna remind me that I'll do it, but I'll get it in there. All right, so number 23 out of 43. Oh, let me go back. So that Maitre, this particular race here, they call them hermaphrodites or whatever. Remember, I forget the sexual definition of a hermaphrodites. And their lifespan is about 120 years. Now, they have colonized at least 26 different planets, and they have abducted at least 5,000 humans. Now, for you ladies, I just want to warn you that they only take men. They have abducted 5,000 men, maybe because they're hermaphrodites or whatever, if I'm pronouncing that right. But they also have been involved in several tragedies throughout human history. and some of the worst plagues were inflicted by them with the knowledge of an agreement of the reptilians and who want the human population to never go over 8 billion. So we already know they talk about that, but the reptilians have abducted female humans for thousands of years, most for hybrid offsprings or sent away to other planets so that they can colonize, and some stay here on Earth where they become powerful members of the infiltrated society. So we already know that happens with the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. We talk about that here if you go back and watch previous videos. So a lot of this stuff we chat about all the time. And so go figure, right? And we'll do that. But anyway, welcome here. If you're here for the first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And of course, we'll be here tomorrow and Thursday on my channel. And then we go to uncensored area as well. So anyway, welcome if you're here for the first time. Hermaphrodite. Okay, so you pronounce it. Because you know I got a grammar box. Y'all know that, right? So over to the left of the grammar box, if I mispronounce anything, y'all go in here and correct it. Spelling box over here, unlimited spelling letters. You go over there because y'all know I'm going to butcher some words. So you got to get used to that by now. So, but yes, Camilo says smash the like button. Yes, please smash that like button. Let's do it. He said I got a book. I was just seeing somebody said they had a book called Extra. Yeah, Dr. Strange. That's the book that he has 81 species in it. We was talking about that earlier. So y'all go ahead and go look at that as well. All right, so the next one is this one. The next alien is called the Dries or whatever. Now, their height is around 8 feet tall. They have a very complex structure and skull. They visit Earth about 20 times. They carry out human abductions, which they are used for human reproductions. They have abducted at least 520 humans, males and females, and they come from the third star constellation Cetus. Is a place that they're come from. Now, supposedly they have 2 home planets, and they have colonized at least 40 planets with the help of slaves. 10 of those planets were taken with use of force, and then they work with 3 other races that mostly eat animal protein derived from products. Now, according to the alien reports, they are not mentally, spiritually prepared to interact with us or any other races, and so they're a little different. Their home planets and chemical composition is similar to Earth, and they're supposed to reveal themselves to humans in the open manner. And then when this document was done 10 years ago, so they're supposed to reveal themselves to us back in 2022. Now, ironically, if you've heard me talk about it, remember the Israeli, whatever guy that's over their UFO program, right when Trump got into office the first time, said that the UFO said, hey, or the aliens said it's time to reveal themselves, one of the species. And then last year or year before, they all kept saying in 2025 there was going to be a big reveal, among the ufologist sector and all this stuff. And I don't know if it's these people, but according to this document, which is prior to, that they were planning to reveal themselves to humans. Now, of course, if they are sitting down with the big secret keepers, our governments and all that, it is not going to happen. It just can't happen because they're not going to want to destroy human civilization in that manner and capacity that they do. But you never know. And it's just something that, we could be a little leery about. But hey, they said it's something that they do. And they pretty much so. Intersects with modern terms. Okay, that's what Body Electric says. If I have proof receipts for calling the ancestors to use drones for data collection, a few days later, the huge drone invasion occurred, you would think I would get in trouble, and what I mean, pretty sure. Well, I tell you what, if you have proof receipts for calling the ancestors in to use drones for data collections, a few days later, well, give me the proof. Okay, let me know if I put my number on the screen, or email on the screen earlier, and pretty much. And let me make this announcement again. If you're in Dallas, Texas, July the 19th, we're going to do our meet and greet, okay, here in Dallas at a Keith Park location. There's a little pavilion that'll hold a few of us. But if we need a little place indoors because it's hot, then I can make an announcement of that. But there you go. The email is right there, contact@WhyTheBigSecret.com. Send me an email, your telephone number. I'll put you on our text list. And then you can just come out, bring the kids, whatever. We're just going to meet that Saturday and just kind of kick some conspiracy and pretty much. But anyway, there's my email for you to Angela, as we already talked about. She said, my text ain't working. Well, email. Well, I mean, that's not a text anyway, so just email. Well, either way, all right, that's cool. But we definitely would love to have proof in there, because the drone situation is really different now. If any of you know, if you got a drone or planning to buy one from DJI, which is the biggest drone manufacturer, where you can't right now, they are no longer customers not letting any of their drones into the US right now. So go figure that. And so there's a drone problem already, and maybe because they're using it, whatever. So we can kind of go from there and kind of see. All right, so let's go to the next one. The next one is called the, which is number, let me make sure I have the number right. Number 24 out of 46 is the Lang aliens. Now, this is a small species. They grow about 70 centimeters. They come from a 6-star in the constellation Coma Berenices. They have 3 home planets, maybe 4, and they have colonized at least 10. They were one of the first races to visit Earth. They were the race that started the stories about fairies. So you remember we got stories there. 2 alien races claim that they have abducted over 10 million humans throughout history, and the number is highly disputed by other races. They state that the number is much lower, and the race even made a statement to the Russian president saying that the race Lang has never abducted anybody. So it's like the alien is saying they're lying. Don't believe in Bernard. Don't believe in Bernard. They're lying. But anyway, their last sighting was in New Zealand in 2006. A group of 20 of them was seen there. Oh, I'm trying to kill a bug there. I don't know. But a group of 20 was seen. And so once again, they're the stories of the fairies. We've seen movies made about fairies and all that. And so I think it's important to start connecting some of these dots as we begin to go down this rabbit hole and seeing all this stuff, connect some of the dots and everything else when it comes to these races. This one here is called an Esmad or whatever SMAD, but we don't have a picture for them. They come from a planet Soviet constellation, Day. Their ships have this conical shape. They resemble humans in appearance. According to one alien race, they only have 6 ships left. They colonized 20 planets. 18 of them has been inhabited, and the first visit was 2,500 years ago. And they are very interested in our religious belief, and they're a race in decline or weakening. And according to the alien races, they are on the downside of things when it comes down to it. So as you can see, this is the stories and things that have been happening quite some time when it comes to these alien races. So you would think that, they're out there, like I said. And this is, for those of you just joining us, is a document that surfaced some years back that it was a classified document, and then it had all these different species known, and these pictures that I'm showing to you are way before AI. So these are like 12-year-old photos, and or artists or people drew them for the big secret keepers or whatever they did, and copies were made or whatever. But the fact that all these alien races and they're connected to our historic stories make you at least get interested enough that you're like, okay, let me check that out and just kind of see where they're going with this and what's really happening. So I think it's very essential that, you look into it, right? We go into it. All right. So this next one is called, once again, I'm going to butcher it, Tengri-Tengri or whatever, Tengri-Tengri or whatever. Monica is a teacher out there, so she'll correct me. But anyway, they come from the planet Tengri, which is the galactic sector 56 star system, F134. They live underground and have a population of 10 million. They visit Earth about 10,000 years ago. They do not need an atmosphere or water to survive. They have a ship that accommodates 5 million of their kind, and they had contact with human governments throughout history. They last seen was in Buenos Aires in Argentina in 2004 when it comes down to this. So the fact that they have dates and last seen and all of this, but if you can see that there's an accustomed, or either they're going to hybrid with people, but I've said this before, and even at the beginning of the last show over at Forbidden Knowledge, there's a lot of you who are watching are aliens, and a lot of people could be and don't even know it. Like I said, I have plenty of stories and reports of people dating people that, mysteriously do little things to them or show them things that they know or feel or have some kind of sentiment that they're people that they're seeing are not human. I remember this guy that he was dating this chick, and that's all he say, man, she's just not human, man. She's and, you know, when they're doing, you know, mating, you know, I'm gonna use that word for sensibility purposes. And he was like, man, she just does this thing and blah, blah, blah. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I want to, you know, mate an alien, you know, or maybe so. You never know. I mean, if she got, I don't know, but he talked it up enough that made you curious enough to say, boy, I want, you know, we need to hook up with that alien stuff or whatever. But he was also terrified all the time too. So I'm like, I don't know how it works being terrified, but at this point, you know, hey, you got to be careful at this point. I don't know, but I don't know if any of y'all, but I wouldn't want to go that route. And pretty much, Dinah says, looks like he stepped straight out of Star Wars. Yeah, you know, and sometimes Star Wars show some of the things and pretty much and stuff. So you never know when it comes down to. I don't think I'll be by myself. I think some of you guys would jump on some alien stuff. All right, so the gray sly or whatever, their height are average the same as humans, and they are covered in what they call a soft, silky hair. They have 2 planets in Virgo star system. They have visited Earth about 12 times. Their first visit happened during the dynasties of Egypt's pharaoh around 3,000 years. They spent 10 uninterrupted years there during that time, and the Dossier pyramid was built in their honor. So the Dosa pyramids, and so they have been keeping a close look at human development for the past 200 years, knowing that some powerful humans can and are being misled by alien races disguised as humans, and only 6 of them travel at a time in their ships, last seen 2002, February 2004. So think about it. Other aliens knows that there are aliens that are in control and they're misguiding humans. You know, we know that. We talk about shapeshifters and all that stuff, right? We talk about the alien bloodlines. And I think as we continue to have these conversations of coincidental conversations, that some people should begin to feel, man, some of this stuff, it just has some real thought to it, right? And it's not really so surprising that we're not just the only species. I don't know how we got there to people think there's nothing else up there, or, you know, there's nothing else that exists. When you see us, you see spiders, you see, you know, ants, or you know, humans, and, you know, monkeys and fish. Everybody got 2 eyes and nose. Even a fish got 2 eyes and a mouth. And you know, I think they have noses too. You have, you know, birds, 2 eyes and a nose. You know, it's like all of us got this format. And of course, same thing with the aliens. So there is a God. We know that. There is a great one, the creator. But to think that some of these planets are thousands of years of place, and we're found in this place in the technology, and it's a big space. So, you know, not everybody is just traveling and say, oh, there's that Earthlings. But we're probably the only dumbest species. And think about it. We're probably the dumbest species that are sending out signals telling other races we are here, because we don't receive signals from them. At least we don't know about it, right? Saying, hey, y'all there, y'all get this. We're the only ones. And then every time, you know, they come in and then they're abducting people. And it's like our governments are doing it to make traps and stuff so they can, you know, do stuff. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Rooted says she loves the hat. Yeah, thank you. And I think it's just kind of crazy when you think about this stuff. You know, that we're sending out messages, you know, wanting them to do. Now, this other one, of course, we already know about the Anunnaki. So I'm going to skip that. They're just in the books. But they say, okay, you know what? We're going to read it a little bit. They're a planet from the solar system, same solar system as Earth. They come from a planet called Nibiru, but with a much longer orbit. It comes closer to the sun every 4,000 years and not every 3,500 years as commonly accepted, is what they're saying here. They resemble humans, but higher, like 8 feet tall, and they're more muscular. And when they first visited Earth, there was already other races established here, and some malevolent with supernatural powers. And Anakin defeated them and became the most powerful race on Earth. And so we start thinking about, you know, the biblical stories of Adam and Eve, and as you know, come on now, but you go back, there was a lot of Adams, right? There was a lot of Adams in the Anunnaki history. So, but anyway, man was already here. There was some type of Neanderthal or some type of man that was here even when they got here. So dating back to who really made us. But if you go back to the stories, the Anunnaki genetically modified our DNA, made us slaves or worship type slaves or whatever, and then also gave us the ability to procreate. Now you go back to the stories of the Anunnaki. Now, with all the stuff that I talk about in other videos, we start digging down that there's connection to those lizard people, right? And even biblically, it says it in everything else. And so we got a lot of history, and and no wonder that they spend so much time keeping secrets from us. They don't want us to know. And I've said it before. I think it's a real travesty if people think that we are really prepared to know the entire truth out there. And if you think that I think everybody should be knowing the truth,
hell no.
That's my thoughts. But I'm not saying you can't handle the truth and you shouldn't deserve it. But I think that there's a great number of people that cannot handle the truth in pretty much. He said, Viking said they're interesting, told to be a proud warrior race. They live among the strong code of honor and put a lot of value and strength on combat, pretty much like the Klingons in Star Trek, I imagine. Oh, well, it can go there. Goddess says, I have a small gray step in my realm. And I rolled over and said, hello. Oh, no. Oh, hell no, not tonight. Hey, they want that loving. Or I don't know. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I hear you, though. JJ said we receive signals from aliens, but we do not pay attention to them when they come. Well, I don't know about that, but I think, they always say talk to our government and then they trade us off and pretty much from there. Are you sure the government has received messages that they just haven't? That's what I was going to say earlier, Kashan, that maybe they do send messages. We just don't get it and they're not going to tell us. So I'm going to go with that. You're correct on that and pretty much. And so, yeah, let's just go with that picture right across the board. So we're on the same page with that one. All right. So the next one, which is number 28 out of 46. So number 28 out of 46 is the Afim. Okay. And now, you know what? Let me bag up for a minute. There are some other notes that I want to talk about with the Anunnaki here real quickly. Now, again, they resemble humans, like I said, and they're genetically engineered, most intelligent non-alien beings on Earth. Now, of course, at the time of Samuel and Lilith, were the Anunnaki king and queen, they were not aware of the presence of the reptilians on race. So here, there's a contradiction to where my researchers show that the Anunnaki are the reptilians. So here they're saying that they were not aware of the presence of reptilians on Earth. They only incorporated with the other race, the Zeta Reticula, and not to be confused with the Greys. Now, eventually they left for unknown reason, but before they left, they created a subspecies. So this is where this hybrid stuff came from. The species eventually became rulers of Egypt and pharaohs, and until the reptilians infiltrated them and ended their reign, and they gave birth to the legends about the giants. So the Anunnaki maybe wasn't the original of the giants, according to, the original Anunnaki wasn't reptilians, but somehow they crossed between that, and that's where these giants and stuff supposedly come from. Now, this is according to this government document. So they will return one day as they promised. However, that the date of return is still a mystery, which we're saying Nibiru is on its way back. But they know all of this is happening on Earth as well and other planets, and we're the influence. So anyway, approximately the planet Nibiru does cause cosmic instability and weather-related repercussions in all planets of the solar system, but don't cause the amount of destruction that's usually accepted and believed. So there we go. So according to this document, that the Anunnaki and them are a little different when it comes down to it. So we're going to go with that a little bit and go. So this next one is the Afim. They come from constellation Lyria. They call themselves Afim Spensi because of a war that they fought against a race called Spensites. The race had 12 times more members and 35 more ships and resources than the Afim, but they won in the end. So they added to the Spenansi their own race name as warning to others. They are smaller than humans in stature, and their skin is covered with blue spots, which, let me put them back on the screen there. And and of course, the darker for males and lighter from females. Their planet is called Crimea, and we've heard that in movies and stuff too, right? I think we all have. And so, and pretty much. So I would assume that those are things that we're going to do. All right. So thank you, Diana, for alerting me, because I don't see those chats. But anyway, he says, John says we chatted. Lucas and Spielberg learned from the late, great Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell is my guy. And like I told y'all before, in this secret drive that I've been telling people to get access to, I got everything Jordan Maxwell ever did. I got his files, his family made a donation, gave me all his research materials, copy of them, So that's my guy. Jordan Maxwell is my guy, in pretty much. But anyway, give a shout out to John. And a shout out to the godmother for letting me know, because I didn't see it, as always, because if it's going through in a bunch of scrolls, I won't see it. It's pretty much. Yeah, they got big eyes, Crystal Ball, these particular alien race. And so they're kind of known for that, but they said they don't need oxygen. They do have an atmosphere, but it's composed mainly of hydrogen mixed environment, and they have colonized at least 10 planets in what they call a non-violent way, so to speak. And when they are close to humans, they can be invisible, but humans, when around them, will feel certain amount of unexplained anxiety. So they're saying that if any of these aliens are next to you, then you're going to feel some type of anxiety when these particular aliens are next to you. So this Afim. So some of you might have felt some type of anxiety, and it could be because these particular aliens are next to you, according to what they're saying. So that is something pretty interesting there. Number 29 of 46 is the Solipsi Rai, but we call them the Greys. Peaceful and harmonious race, they say. They have one main leader. His name is Yamatian or whatever. Now, they're saying that this particular civilization of Gray, let me put it back up here. This particular civilization of Gray, their civilization is 2 billion years old. And once they were on the same level of development as ourselves, they have no colonies. They're completely focused on development of other planets and races. They come from the constellation Genius or whatever. They have one powerful weapon that keeps some neighboring violent races away, and are known to invade at the time. And they're said that the human race next few thousand years still has 645 positions left to save. Wait a minute. They said the human race over the next few thousand years still have 647 options left to save ourselves and our planet and guarantee the future for our race. But it all depends on our ability to travel through space. Maybe that's what we're talking about, though. Maybe that's the thing that we are, looking at in pretty much, from there, I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, I just got a text. Let me see what he's saying here. Unless he's trying to get me to see that now, but anyway, so all right, so let me turn that down in case it says something we don't need to hear. All right, so let me continue to go. I feel like one day this is rooted in. Oh, okay, so I'm getting a video. I guess there's something in the sky here. So we're getting a UFO sighting. Oh, okay. Someone
right here has been moving like crazy.
All right, somebody just sent me a UFO sighting. So while we're doing that right now, so let's continue. All right, So Roderick Stevens says they knew about reptilians. They used some DNA. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's pretty weird there. All right, so let's continue to go to this next one. It's called the Puxhiti or whatever. This race was very influential in South Central American cultures. And like I said, these are just little description of pictures, but oh no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong alien. Let me go back to, oh, hold on. Okay, let me take that picture down. This one I don't have a picture of. But anyway, one time they had over 2,000 members living among humans in their regions until one day when most of them left, leaving behind only 25, and humans unalived them. See, it's kind of crazy that all the stories, we are the ones that's butchering everybody. This human, so that goes to show the humans are a barbaric race, and they all know it. And they know that, so think about the movies, the giant movie or whatever. Remember Gulliver? What, I don't know, was it what? We've always been just pretty barbaric, the humans and everything. And like I said, we're already shooting things down. We've been pretty much doing this for quite some time. And it's no wonder that we are the targets when these other races come. So this one is called the X5TY cut. This race was created by the Maitre. Remember, we talked about them early in order to be used as slaves. And then this is what they served for. The Maitre often sent by Maitre to security sensitive regions, working as messengers, and also to conduct abductions. Now, they can live forever as they're not organic. However, they're raw materials and they need to build one rare at a time. And it's kind of funny because in our history books, we have all kinds of grays and remember, some grays they say were mechanical suits and some wasn't. Some had some type of biology to them. So when we start looking at all those stories, it's pretty weird that at some point we get to a point that there are all these stories here. But again, when you start thinking about these alien races, this particular race was last seen in 1997 in Australia. Now, of course, they're supposed to be a slave race designed by the Maitre race or whatever, or Maitre race that we talked about earlier. So once again, the list goes on and on. So we're at number 31 of 46. So let's continue that. This is the Tanzana. They come from the constellation Perseus, and they're near the Gorgonia Secuta. They have caused thousands, maybe millions of deaths on Earth and other planets as one of the interests of area of study and how other races react to the tragedies of cataclysms and everything else. Technologically, they are extreme advanced, and one alien race reported that the Tanzani caused both the crashing of the Hindenburg as well as sinking the Titanic. Now, ain't that some crap? This particular species, whoever they, like I said, these are depictions that was turned into the government, whatever, and it may be in there, because there's copies of copies of copies. But they're saying another alien race said that this race is the one who caused the crashing of the Hindenburg. Remember that big, I think it was a hot air balloon, not hot air balloon, but whatever, a balloon, and the sinking of the Titanic. Now, we have been told the Titanic has got hit by an iceberg, or what they're saying the aliens caused it, and they can live up to 500 years, around 5 feet tall. They are avoided by other alien races and last seen in 1999 in New York State. How appropriate is that New York State? But yeah, we hear the point that the my guy Why Woke podcast is here with us tonight. And so, yeah, just think about it. They be underwater. So they were underwater. Yeah. So that could be it. But just think about all that kind of stuff. It's kind of crazy when you look at it. And JJ said, let's keep it real. There are a hybrid civilization program between humans and aliens to keep the alien race populated here on Earth as hybrids. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We can go there. We can definitely go there 100%. And so I think it's something that I would honestly say that's just as possible as all get out when it comes down to that. So yeah, we don't even have to assume that. All right, so this next race is called the Arik or whatever. And supposedly they come from a constellation of Opachitis near Yad Prior. They're considered by other races as peaceful. The purpose of the visit is unknown. They stay long on Earth and do not interact with humans or any other aliens here. They mostly use Earth as a stop to quickly gather something they may need before they leave to go to their real destination, and they're mostly nocturnal. Their ships emit a bright orange light, and most of them are octagonal shape. Excuse me. And think about all of the pictures and reports we get of orange orbs and stuff. So remember, this is a government document that showed up a while back. And so we just kind of have to look at it and see what's going on. So they're talking about orbs. So the ships are bright orange lights. Most of them are octagonal shape, last spotted near London, England in 2003. And they come from the constellation Pavo. And they're very respected and peaceful and presumably with mystical powers. And they've been on Earth at least since 1000 AD. And they do not carry out abductions, and they do not interact with humans. And they can live up to 2,000 years, and their height is similar to that of a normal human. It's kind of weird, but they were last seen in Odessa near Ukraine in 1995. So in Ukraine, out of all places, right? And so that's the Arik or whatever they are. So the next one is called the Strom. Now the Strom, they come from a constellation called Uromana. Storms of invertebrate and colostris. They average at about 6.5 feet tall. Vegetation is great of importance to their culture, and the main reason for them visiting Earth, they have been on Earth at least 200 times. They act with extreme cautions and is rarely seen by humans. First visited Earth at the end of the last big ice age. They have 20 colonies in Lati galaxy, and their ships have the shape of an octagon, and they're last seen in 1976 in Oregon, USA. And so once again, I mean, it's just kind of one of those fine things that we will say. These aliens are every freaking where. And pretty much. I'll say here on Roderick's show, first, there will be major sightings in the last 4 days. So keep eyes over Scotland and Ireland and Alaska. Okay, so that's your prediction, Angela? All right, so y'all do a screenshot. Okay, so she says she's going to say it here on my show. She already did the last prediction. She said that there are going to be a major sighting in less than 4 days over Scotland, Ireland, and Alaska. Scotland, Ireland's the same place in Alaska or a different place? All right, so somebody document this, and we're going to look at that ourselves. And so somebody document it. So let's go that route, and we're going to do that. All right, so let's see. We're going to go with you and see what's going on there. All right. This next alien race is called the Kalenia. They come from the constellation star Tezard. They have colonized 3 planets and have a lifespan of 150 years. They're often sighted in northern Africa and the Sahara region. They first visited Earth about 300 BC. They do not conduct abductions. Their main interest is about minerals here, and they're sighted in 2003 near a volcano in Iceland. So she just mentioned Iceland. So maybe, there we go. And she said the easiest way for y'all to know the real one. All right, so that's the easiest way for y'all to know a real one. Okay, real one what? And let us know what you're talking about. And that will be good. We already showed this one. So this next one, number 35 out of 43, is all right, well, these people here. The Maitre or whatever, once related to the Reptar species, but they're not, however, Reptilians. They come from the constellation Serpians, star in Allah. They visit Earth in 1913, 1965. It's kind of weird because this kind of picture is in the Denver airport, They do not represent any threat to humans, often seen around Antarctica, and the reason for their visits unknown, but they was in Antarctica last seen May 1st, 1997. But, the Denver airport got some weird-looking people like that. The next one, of course, is reptilians, and we already know the most known and feared of the Reptar species. They are at least 3 species, and they are permanently on Earth over 15,000 years, which is confirmed. I'm sorry, the reptards. I didn't put that on there. This one is something else. So we'll go to this next. That looked like a damn roach, though. But anyway, so the reptilians they're talking about come from the constellation Draco, and they have the presence of thousands of planets and have at least colonized 500 by the means of infiltration within the leadership of each planet. Some, not all, of their members have powers to shapeshift as well as telepathic abilities. And on Earth, they do not need to infiltrate human leadership at all times, as they often live side by side with humans, most of them unaware, and they live our evolution of all aspects of species. They're considered one of the most technological advanced species, but they prefer to work in the shadow, using as their an advantage for the progress of plans of the agenda. They can travel interstellarly dimensionally. Most races and some of higher tanking members also have the power to become invisible. To have the power, a reptilian must be accepted. Now, to have that power, a reptilian must be accepted in what they call the Draco, and it's an elite group of reptilians. The reptilians from Draco are infiltrated or even co-founded with of the Illuminati. They're saying this right here. This is a document. And they have 3 main bases on Earth near Bermuda Triangle, somewhere close to Denmark and off the coast of New Zealand. And some say they will never leave, at least on their own. That is not happening. All right, so number 33 is, let me move down. I don't know about who this, that looks like a roach. You know, I don't know where that picture come from. So we're going to skip this guy. And maybe we should, but let me find who's the next one here. That'll be you, the Akabakatu or whatever. Presumably, there are 5,000 ships and they have colonized over 100 planets here. Let me check the chat real quick, too, to catch up, if any of y'all. I have some strange thoughts. I have some thought, Angela, is Rooted says. Angela is saying draconians. Okay, y'all having your own conversation. That's good. Y'all keep talking to each other. And then I'll keep going on. I know Monica looked like Skeletor, didn't he? Yeah. Put the glasses on, Cristobal says. Y'all Rowdy Piper, Invisible. All right. So anyway, y'all keep going. Y'all got a conversation going, so I'm going to keep going here on this Akaba, whatever they are called. Yeah. All right. So again, abductions. Now, they're considered by other aliens one of the parasitic races. Abductions of humans are frequent and ongoing, and the purpose of human abductions is unknown. They do not like to interact with other alien races. They come from the constellation Perseus, and they're extremely aggressive, suspected to have been involved in several airplane crashes, such as Flight 007 over the Russian airspace in 1983. The USSR leadership took the blame for that crash, but they last seen September 2001 in Canada. So that is pretty weird there. Now, again, this picture looked like a roach. I promise you. First known to visit Earth in 1989, they abduct human and exercise control over their mind, their captives, which they use their own benefit after they capture release. The race is inspiration for the alien race in the movie Independence Day. And they are the oldest races. They are one of the races that most human governments fear when considering future of humans. So they did look like a roach. So I'm sitting there killing roaches, and you remember in Men in Black, the bugs and all that. So kind of interesting though. Now we get to the Zeta Reticuli, the Shababala, often confused because their appearance with the Greys, the Maitres, and all that, but they're not. They're from a constellation, the Nets. They're aliens of the Anunnaki. They're allies of the Anunnaki, incorporate with them in different planets. They are the representatives of the Anunnaki on Earth, and they send information about humans and this planet at least 25 times per year. So the Anunnaki created a subspecies of Zeta, which is the purpose of making them look more like humans, but leaving enough physical appearance for humans to distinguish them. They became some of the pharaohs of Egypt. Kind of weird. You remember they talk about the elongated skulls and all that back in Egypt and all that. So it's kind of weird they're seeing that there's kind of connections there. Most of them are known as the Akhenaten, and was removed from the power by reptilians. They infiltrated themselves in the court as temple priests. And first report the Zetas on Earth goes back to 4000 AD, but the number of them is most likely higher. And they were the first hybrids to be re-engineered by the Anunnaki and the sub-Zeta series species still on Earth and still here and are 30% present, the same physical appearances that created them. The sexual organs of subspecies are very aspect of the same as that of humans. So some of you could be breeding with this type of things. So the Zetas are still here on Earth in both forms, the original and hybrid species, and their location on Earth is totally unknown. So that's kind of weird, but there we have it. So we know that a lot of this stuff happens, and so at this point, these people are here and they're messing around on Earth. I think the Anunnaki use their wristwatches and handbags. Yeah, more sugar. Yeah, and Mosquito says, and all that stuff. So there we go. I mean, I think it's kind of weird that we do that. But anyway, we are on. There's another one called Therese. I don't have a picture of them. Tarice. Their origin is unknown. They're often seen of flying by volcanoes, identified. So we've seen a lot of Mexican videos of volcanoes. They also never contacted humans, and there's no report of violence of abductions. Even though they are discreet and their presence on Earth is frequent, they do not try to hide from view. There are several contradictory reports about their appearance. Last time they were seen was in Norway, is what people were saying. This next one is somebody drew this picture. Remember, the government people turned these in. The origin is unknown. They're often, and they call the Purik, y'all can pronounce that one, the Nosy or whatever, Nosy 7. They often are sighted in northwest of USA, especially in the Oregon area. They have special interests in about Earth oceans and are known to have underwater ships as USOs. In 1980s and 1990s, they almost crashed a few times against the U.S. Navy ships, while Americans were testing new sonar and radar systems. They are peacefully and most nocturnal and last seen in San Francisco area in 2000. So that is the race there. All right. So we have about 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So we have 6-7 more races left. So, all right. So the X-17 or ZAKX, they call them the X. I don't have an image of them, but they've only been sighted on Earth 2 times. And according to reports, the other races, they are able to shapeshift as many as 4 times in 10 seconds. Like, woo, that's pretty powerful. Their origin is unknown. They conduct human abductions and perform medical experiments on subjects. And they have been visiting Earth since the 1500s, and they only confirm sightings happen in Turkey. And so these particular people has been around quite some time when it comes down to that. If you haven't had an opportunity, maybe we can get we got almost a couple hundred people in here. Maybe if y'all can go ahead and take the time and like the video, and then we can get some likes going and all that. I think it'll be really cool if you all could go ahead and like that video, and so we can do that. So let's like this video, the one that we're watching right now. All right. So let's see if we can get it up past 100 or so. So I'll check back on it in just a minute. But there's enough of you in here that we can get that going. All right. So the next alien is called the Carveda or whatever. Look at the weird face on this one. Known at times extremely dangerous to humans as well as other alien species, they come from the constellation Chameleon, and they have been permanently involved in conflicts with a few other races over 500 years on Earth. And they are rarely seen on Earth. They live up to 150 years, and reportedly they are 3 meters tall, about 9 feet tall, and have 4 arms, and last seen in New Orleans in 1976. In New Orleans, that is really weird. So this next one is called F. We already kind of know this is the Greys, matter of fact, or they resemble them, but they're not related to them. They come from the constellation Bootes near Primus, and they also resemble the Greys, but they're not. They have 4 different genders and are known to be benevolent, so I guess they're friendly. And the purpose of their visit is unknown, but they seem to have special interest in raw materials, as they have been often sighted near old mines and stuff. And they've been seen in El General, Costa Rica. And so, once again, they're supposed to be some friendly people. So we will think that's interesting enough. So let's kind of go with that one. All right. So we have the next one. It's the Matrix. The Matrix. Despite their appearance, they install fear in humans when sighted. This race is not known to be aggressive. They can live up to 400 years. They come from constellation Delphinus. They have been visiting Earth since 4,000 years, but were sighted quite during the 19th century. They also serve an inspiration for the alien race in the movie Independence Day. Their last sightings in France in 1996. That was weird enough, right? And we saw that one. This one here, the origin is unknown, but there are reports stating that it takes nearly 2 years for them to get to Earth. They are often survivors of the extinct reptile race. They do not possess the same level of technology and knowledge as other races. They do not have human characteristics such as skin. In 1977 and 1978, near Italy, 2 of these species were captured after landing behind a church ruin. 3 days later, they was transferred to a U.S. base and finally taken to an undisclosed location. Supposedly, they still remain. Contacts have mentioned they are somewhere in the South Pacific in another base near Japan, and they were able to get a hold to a video. You remember, I think this was the species that, remember the little girls? They had crashed, and they did a documentary on it, and the little girl said that they came around a corner, and the alien was in the corner, but he was crouched, and he was making a sound like it was crying, like, oh, like it was like, oh man, I've been captured, or I'm getting ready to get captured. And then the soldier that captured the other one touched it. And then eventually he started growing some type of, and it's supposed to be a true story, by the way. And I forget the name of the documentary that's out now that they have been talking about this particular incident. And so it's pretty interesting. So you might want to go look at that. This one here is from a statue, but they call the elves, supposedly a race of elves or elf. They were sighted in Germania countries. They're known to be lethal to humans. However, they are known to have been pranksters, and it seems that they enjoy scaring humans when they get too close. It's reported they have lured humans away from their cars in order to steal their possession. And once the humans are far away from their vehicles, they have already stolen what they wanted. They frighten them to make the humans leave the locations, and they've been last seen in Germany. Alien, that's a prankster. Isn't that weird enough? Now, these last one, we talk about the Council of Five. This is kind of their symbol. And once again, we're talking about triangle symbols and all that stuff. And so that's pretty interesting to kind of know. But anyway, they're known as the 5 alien races. They're a part of the Council of Five. And the races are part of the council, previously known as the Council of Nine, and they have been protecting Earth and the humans for as long as they can record it. Some say they have been protecting the planet even before human existed, even for millions of years. Now, the alien race reported the Council of Five last met on Earth in 1994. So that's pretty interesting here. They call them the Council of Five. And then, of course, we got the Trilateral Commission that we talked about yesterday, was something pretty much from there. And take your iPad. What do you say? I'm out here. I saw a UFO and disappeared. Yeah. Yeah. It says, take your iPad. What do you want me to do with my iPad, Dr. Strange? Improvement. They're going to be lightning up the sky this week. I called several in for personal reasons. Okay. Why did you call them? Tell us that. All right. So these last two is the Council 5, composed of the following races, the Orella and the Igorite, or whatever. And so those are the last two. And then it's supposed to be a few other ones, the Trident, the Rendon, and all of this, but we're not going to go deeper into those. But, that is 40 something. So the last 2 hours, we have went through all of these races. And like I said, this is coming from a document that surfaced a while ago, but got out of the government classified stuff. And like I say, some stuff like this, they don't really care that it sneaks out because they know a lot of people don't believe a lot of these things. But the fact that it was there and somebody gave descriptions, and this is some descriptions of probably the government has talked to all these different people from all over the country, the world, and they gave their descriptions, and maybe, because they're going to have a sketch artist and all this, say, hey, tell us what it looked like, in all these things. And so that's not uncommon to get all these weird looking pictures of these races. But for me, I do believe that we are visited all the time. I do believe that there are aliens walk among us. I do believe that some of you who are listening right now, there's almost 200 people in here, could be an alien and or dating an alien. You just don't know it, right? And from bloodlines and species, from DNA and all of this stuff, because the one thing's for certain, they're going to make sure that they blend into a Earth area. So the hybridization is going to be intact. But of course, if they got technology to shapeshift, hide, or whatever, they're going to use it. And then, of course, if they're in different dimensions or vibrational levels where we can't see, then they're going to use that technology as well. But I do think the weirdest part is I've gotten many calls of people that, that have dated and, like I said, have intercourse with people that were very weird things, and they just knew they was not human. And so now I can't contest that any of them had babies after that. But other than that, the story continues and everything else. So I'm highly believing that, that the existence there. And so no, pretty much stuff don't pass me when it comes to this. I don't get as overexcited as I used to when I was a young kid, but now it's like, it's just a day's work of thought, right? That there's some higher force at work, and there's things that are out there in pretty much for us to think about from that. And so those are the ones. And like I said, this week, tomorrow, we're going to still go deeper into what I started Monday, which is let me see. Monday, I talked a little bit about, let me look at my content here. Monday, I talked a little bit about Majestic 12. So we're going to go deeper into that again tomorrow, and pretty much. And so that'll be something that we'll do. But I think by the time we get enough people, I think that has a copy of this book, or y'all went into the our Patreon area, then I think we should do a week-long discussion of this book. I mean, this is probably, very hype stuff that I think we need to go into the alien interview. So I'm not for sure if a lot of you have done that and pretty much, but those are things. Dr. Strange Riley sent you an email with my number. When did you do that? Right now? Let me check and see if you did or not. Let me check. Scrolling. Still scrolling. When did you send the email and to whom? All right. So, Lashonda, if you're still watching, but this was 8:30, said the Dallas meetup knowledgeable. I just don't get it. Y'all got to give me numbers and stuff, but I don't get it. So, Dr. Strange, I have not gotten an email from her. I don't know what email you sent to and when, but I'm going to put it back on the screen. And if you plan on sending anything, it will be a good time to do it tonight if you're going to. But I have not received an email. Well, when did you send it, though? You're not seeing anything, so I don't see it, but let me pull it up. But all right, let me put in the name and see if I can find it. Got it. Okay. Damn, you sent that Sunday? And I didn't see it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I got you, brother. All right, so yeah. I didn't see it though. It says Sunday, so I was scrolling today or whatever, but I didn't see it. But I got you now. All right, so I'll reach out to you. Yeah, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. I'll text you, or if I don't know your time frame tonight. If you up, I'll still text you my number tonight. If you up, you can respond when we get off of here in a little bit, and then we can talk tonight or tomorrow, just whenever. But I will definitely get with you on that as well. All right. All right. So she said, Angela said we're going to monitor dimensional stuff. And everything else. All right. So I'm not really for sure there. But anyway, as y'all know, we're going to meet in Dallas. And like I said, it's just pretty weird that we get this stuff. That we get, we're going to be meeting in Dallas. It's kind of weird, but yeah, so we'll be meeting in Dallas, and then we're going to Go there and let me respond there. All right, so let me put my thing back on the screen here. We're going to be meeting in Dallas area. Right now, it's going to be at Keys Park, okay? It's in Dallas, right? It's a little park in the middle of Dallas over here, south of Dallas. And then, but if we get to a point that we need to be indoors because of the heat, then there's a little place that I'm going to look at this weekend. And then we can move inside. But anyway, if you're not on our email list, text that, email that your number and stuff. We'll add you to our text list. And then we're going to be doing it. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to be meeting in Dallas and pretty much. Thank everyone. We are at the last few of our luminous emblems until I get more. And a lot of you have gotten in, and everyone who ordered one should be received no later than this week or anybody, because every last one is shipped out now. And so you can go to our website. If you have not gotten your book of sacred secrets, you need to go to our website and download it with all this Nibiru stuff. It's linked in the description, truthversusauthority.store. And I'm just telling you, this is going to tap you into everything, and it's going to mess some of your religious folks up, so I do not recommend it. If you haven't got your vibrational codes for the water programming, you can go to the website, and this is reusable. You just cannot, this is for pure energy. We got love and abundance. Water is programmable, so you put your water on it, you drink it, and put that programming codes within you from the flower tree of life. You all can kind of do that as well. All right. So with that being said, we are at top of the hour. We've done 2 shows. I've been talking. So we was on Forbidden Knowledge at 8. We got over here at 9. We'll be back here tomorrow at 8, and then we'll be back tomorrow on Thursday as well. And then in our uncensored area Thursday evening, for those of you who have access to our Patreon. If you haven't had access to our Patreon, you can get access right here and support us right there. Make sure it's the 26 plan, which is the all access. And you can kind of do that. And then we have private conversations and stuff as well. And we would kind of do that as well. So with that being said, let me check some chats and messages and see where we are with that. Yes, that is the email address right there. Tommy says, what's the email? There you go. There it is on the screen. And like I said, there's a few people that have access to the 19,000 documents, ebooks, 3,500 videos, 20,000 audio files, and some of the most lethal stuff on the planet that we can't even talk about, but we're expanding our inner circle. And there's room for a couple more people. But again, you got to get you one of these, the investment of that, and then of course, contribution to what we're doing. But other than that, I guarantee you will be one of the most powerful, knowledgeable persons on the planet. You get access to this stuff, stuff that we just can't talk about. You just can't do it, pretty much. All right. So with that being said, make sure you all, like I said, 160 of you in here. If you have not liked this video, can y'all please right now? We have 115 likes. If we can get 150. All it takes right now is some of y'all right now go into there and hit the like button. If you don't mind, it doesn't cost anything for you to hit the like button. If you can just do that for me, that will be really, really cool. Slap on that like button right about now, and we will knock it out. And pretty much. So let me check now. I can refresh the screen, and it'll let me know if we went up any. We went up 2 people. So thank you for 2 people that hit the like button and everything else. And so, all right. So with that being said, there you go. So if you missed the other 20-some people, go over to Forbidden Knowledge. You can watch it. If not, we got a lot of deeper conversations we're going to keep having here this week and everything else. And it's been a pleasure and pleasure, as well as a privilege for those of you who came from Forbidden Knowledge. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. And as we continue to flow and grow, again, we're going deeper into a lot of this alien stuff, because I think it's to bring people up to speed as we go deeper into these things and everything else. And he says, I know Dr. String said, I don't know why people don't hit the like button. I don't know, but I would hope that they do, you know what I'm saying? And I say it all the time, because we get enough people in here that we can make some heck of a difference. Well, at least we just grew. So, okay, we just grew 5 people. So thank you 5 who hit that like button. The 5 of you who just did, thank y'all very, very much. Okay. I really appreciate you hitting the like button and everything else. All right. So with that being said, I love y'all. I love you, love you, love you. I really do. I'm not joking here. I love you, and I love what I do for you and with you and for us, and as we do this together. All right. So y'all take care, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay. 8 o'clock sharp right here, Wednesday.
Why did Ruby shoot Oswald? Was there a conspiracy?
In a world shrouded in darkness and obscured by deception from the big secret keepers, a burning question ignites in the hearts and minds of truth seekers. Why? Let's dive into the abyss of the unknown. Challenge the limits of our understanding.
This bizarre sequence of double killings raised great questions. Who actually fired the shot that killed Kennedy?
Pierce the veil of secrecy.
Cattle found dead and the manner of their deaths are a real mystery.
Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint.
And venture into the realm of conspiracies and extraterrestrial evidence.
A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
Let us consider the question, why the big secret?